Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today I want to talk to you about how to use the law of attraction to access your greatest superpower. Okay, so in this video, I am going to tell you what your greatest superpower is. I'm going to tell you why this thing is your greatest superpower, and I am going to tell you how to use the law of attraction to access this great superpower that you have, and why the law of attraction is being taught incorrectly right now and how you can understand it for how it truly is so that it can actually benefit your life. Okay, so number one, what is your greatest superpower? All right, so when we think about this life and what you really genuinely have control over, all right, and in having that control, have the ability to cater your experience in a way that serves your growth and serves your expansion and serves your potential, and at the same time serves your joy and serves your excitement and serves your desire to be here, all right? And that one thing is your consciousness. All right. So I know that a lot of people out there say, like your body is the one thing that you own, and so like take good care of your body. And I would say like yes, absolutely, take good care of your body. It is something that you're here in a relationship with, but at the end of the day, your body is not something that you actually own. All right. You don't have complete control over your body. Your body has a kind of mind of its own, and it's doing its own thing. And like we've talked about in many other videos, it is more a part of the earth that it is a part of you. And so definitely still take care of your body and definitely have a good relationship with your body and learn from your body, and there's so much wisdom and amazing things to be gleaned from having a deep relationship with your body. But ultimately, the thing that is yours that no one else can really affect, okay, so aside from of course like smashing your head in and like doing something to your brain, is your consciousness, right? And so the next thing that we need to understand is how incredibly powerful your consciousness is with regards to your experience here on Earth, right? So if we start to understand and unfold and kind of unpack what the consciousness is, right, you'll start to see that your consciousness essentially affects every aspect of your life. Right? It's your level of consciousness, your level of awareness, your filters, your perspectives, your belief systems, all of these things, what you are and you are not aware of as in regards to what your belief systems and your filters and all of these things are, affect literally every aspect of your experience in this life. Right? So it is your consciousness that is affecting your relationship with your body and your experience within your body. It is your consciousness that is affecting how you experience your job, how you experience your relationships, how you experience not having a relationship, how you experience money, how you experience creativity, how you experience yourself, how you experience silence, how you experience noise, right? It is literally everything is coming through the filter of your consciousness. And it is your consciousness, like I said, that is absolutely determining your experience here, okay? So we've definitely talked a lot in videos about how it is not your circumstances that dictate how you feel. It is your perception of your circumstances that are dictating how you feel. And we've talked a lot about how emotional traumas and emotional woundings that haven't been dealt with and haven't been looked at have a huge effect on your life and your choices and everything that's going on, right? So just to understand that when you start to develop a greater awareness of your consciousness, all right, this is what brings greater and greater levels of peace and understanding and happiness and joy to your life. Okay, so just go with me on this for a second, right? That literally the more you are aware of your consciousness, how it is filtering things, the more of your consciousness that you are aware of, the greater your levels of peace will be, okay? So the other thing that I would like to say just before we kind of move on is that your consciousness can be considered another word for the sum total of everything that makes up what you are. Okay? So to know your consciousness is to know yourself. And to know yourself and express yourself is to live in a state of joy. All right? So as you take control of your consciousness, as you discover more and more and more about your consciousness, as you awaken your consciousness, essentially bring a lot of your consciousness out of being dormant and out of being unseen and unconscious, right? And bring it into the light of consciousness, bring it into the light of love, you transform your life, you transform your experience of your life. And just to understand too that so much of our pain and suffering is due to our unconscious nature, right? It is due to all of these aspects of ourselves that we are not aware of, that are driving our behaviors and driving our choices and driving our thoughts and driving our perspectives that we don't know about, that we just consider to be reality, that is what is making our experience painful. We suffer because of unconsciousness. Okay? So put that aside just for a second. Now let's look at the law of attraction, right? So the law of attraction states that this is a vibrational universe, right? And that your circumstances and everything that you are attracting into your life is a reflection of what you are, okay? So this is the ultimate truth of the law of attraction, right? That the reality is reflecting back to you what you think, what you believe, what you hold to be true about yourself and the reality. Now, but what we need to understand is that the law of attraction states that you will be reflected back what you deeply and profoundly believe, okay? So we need to understand that the way that the law of attraction is being taught right now is that what you think about and what you focus on, you will attract into your life. And so if there's something in your reality that you don't like, starve it off by not focusing on it and just focus on something better. Okay, now what we need to understand is that would only work if you were completely and fully 100% aware of all of your consciousness. Okay? But what we know to be true scientifically is that most of us live in a state where our conscious thought makes up very little of the vastness of our actual consciousness. Okay? So understand that your point of attraction is coming from the completeness of your consciousness. Okay? The entirety of your consciousness makes up your point of attraction. And your conscious thought makes up only a small portion of that entire consciousness, of that entire point of attraction. Okay? So this is why we can't just focus positively when there are things in our reality that are coming up and that are painful and that we consider to be negative. We can't just focus positively and assume that these things are going to go away. Okay? Because the reality is reflecting back to you the whole of what you are. It is not reflecting back to you your conscious thought. Okay? Unless your conscious thought is aware of your entire consciousness, which for most of us it isn't. Okay? So this is why I believe the law of attraction is being taught incorrectly. And we have to kind of just look at this for a second and say, look, if it really were that it's just our conscious thought and what we focus on that is our point of attraction, and that there's nothing else going on, right? Then no babies would ever be sick, right? Nothing bad would ever happen to a baby because they're not thinking about that stuff. They're not consciously focusing on a disease and getting a disease, right? Babies are born ill. And we can't say that they attracted that because that's what they were focusing on. And at the same time, if it were really true that the law of attraction was what you focus on, you get, so many of us would have died in plane crashes. So many of us would have lost limbs by now. So many of us would be like literally facing our worst fear over and over and over again in actual reality, right? Like the dude that's afraid of snakes would be pretty much like bombarded by snakes all the time, right? That isn't happening, okay? And the reason that isn't happening is because our conscious thought makes up only a small portion of our point of attraction. It is all the other stuff that we're unconscious of, that we're not aware of, that is making up most of our point of attraction. So, this is how you use the law of attraction to access your greatest superpower. Now, what you need to do is this, okay? if you really want to explore your consciousness, and you really want to expand your consciousness, and you really want to take these painful beliefs and these false ideas you have about the world and these false ideas that you have about yourself that are causing you suffering and causing you pain. So remembering, you're taking responsibility here and saying, it is not the circumstance of my life that is causing me pain or making me happy. So that's the first thing, right? That is the garbage teaching of The Secret. That you will be happy when you make $1 million and just focused positively enough, you'll get rid of all the negative experiences in your life which are making you unhappy, and that you will attract all these positive experiences which will make you happy, and then you'll be a happy person. Okay, we know this is bullshit, right? How many stories do we need to hear of people who were poor and had nothing and then became rich and got all their dreams and were still completely miserable, right? Literally, we've heard this story so many times, we need to start believing it, right? It's not the stuff that's making you feel how you feel, all right? It is your level of consciousness that is making you feel how you feel. It is your filter, it is your perspective, it is your beliefs that are out of alignment or in alignment with reality, with the truth of who you are, with the expression of the God source frequency that you are, that make you feel good or make you feel bad, okay? So if we start to understand that, okay, it is not my experience, it is not the circumstances, it is not the things in my life that are making me feel how I'm feeling, right? The circumstances and the things in my life and everything that's arising is neither good nor bad, okay? So this is the first kind of or the second kind of taking of responsibility that needs to happen here, right? In order to access your superpower of your consciousness. The first one is you admit to yourself that it's not the circumstances making you feel how you feel. Okay? That you could spend the rest of your life positively focusing and creating this amazing world for yourself, and you would still be unhappy if you haven't dealt with all of the things that are making you unhappy right now, right? It doesn't matter what circumstances come into your life or go out of your life. That is not what is determining how you feel, right? That's the first thing we need to take control over, and to admit to ourselves and fully own, right? And then the second thing is to fully admit and to fully own that there are no good and no bad experiences, that everything is simply reflecting back to us what we believe right now, okay? So if we're going to use the law of attraction properly, this is what we're going to do. We are not going to ignore any aspect of reality we don't like, and we are not going to try to focus on a whole bunch of aspects of reality that we think are going to make us happy. We are going to step back and we are going to say, the reality is correct. The reality is reflecting me back to me right now. My point of attraction, what I am attracted to, what is coming into, what I allow to come into my life, and how I allow these things to make me feel, and how I perceive these things is all correct, right? The reality isn't wrong, right? The reality isn't sending me terrible relationship after terrible relationship after terrible relationship, even though I'm focusing so positively on having a positive relationship that is going to be so awesome and whatever, because there's something wrong with the reality, right? Or because you're not focusing hard enough, right? The reality is reflecting back to you. This is what you believe about yourself. This is what you believe you deserve. This is what you are attracted to, right? You are the one that is choosing to get into all these relationships. Why? Right? So this is where we take our power back. We step back and we say, okay, no, the reality is correct. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not right, it's not wrong. It's simply reflecting back to me where I'm at right now. So if I want to discover what's going on in my consciousness, if I want to discover what's going on in my unconsciousness, if I want to discover all these things about myself that I'm not aware of yet, all we have to do is observe the reality and say, okay, so all of these things that make me feel bad, I need to look at these things. And all of these things that make me feel good, why? Why did these things make me feel good? Why do these things make me feel bad? And as we start to question this stuff, right? As we start to say, okay, I am the common denominator in my terrible jobs, right? I keep switching jobs and I keep ending up at the exact same job. So what is it that I believe about myself, right? What is it that I believe about the reality? What is it that I believe about my levels of what I'm allowed to do? What is it that I am not expressing and thinking I have to do to be a responsible person, right? There are all of these questions that you can ask yourself based on the reality that you are actually in, right? And that is how the law of attraction works. It shows you what you're believing right now. It simply hands you exactly what you believe the world is. It hands you exactly what you believe you deserve. It hands you exactly what you believe yourself to be. So you might not be consciously aware that you have terrible self-esteem, but if you are attracted to partners that are emotionally unavailable and jobs that don't let you express who you truly are and all of these things, you have terrible self-esteem, right? You're not fully owning who you are, and you're not fully living that, right? And so you probably have a whole bunch of unconscious and subconscious beliefs that tell you that who you are is not good, and that you're not allowed to be who you are, and that if you were to be who you really are, the whole world is gonna explode, and blah 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 blah, right? So what we need to understand is that the law of attraction is not something that we now take and say, okay, I'm just gonna focus on all the good things so that I can avoid all the bad things. Okay, that is completely immature. And I know that that's a harsh way of saying it, but that is what it is, right? That is saying that is a perfect recipe for making yourself crazy and miserable for the rest of your life, okay? So now, I want you to understand that as you accept your reality for what it is, and you go into a neutral state, right? You stop labeling all your experiences as good and bad, and you say, okay, no, this is just going to teach me something. What is the information here? Why do I keep stepping into this? What is my reality? What am I reflecting back to myself through all of these things that I'm attracted to, right? Through all of these things that I have attracted to myself, however you want to think of it, right? What am I telling me about me? What am I telling me about what I believe? When it's painful, why is it painful? What am I making it mean? You're going to start to discover, okay, that really, truly, at the end of the day, the experiences that make you feel bad are the ones where you believe you are not allowed to feel loved. The experiences that make you feel good are the ones where you think you are allowed to be loved. And that is all it's ever going to boil down to. You're going to discover that as you awaken your consciousness and as you allow the reality to reflect back to you the places where you are cutting yourself off from love, you are going to discover how to love those aspects of yourself that have been cut off from love. And then, simultaneously, okay, so this is the magic of this, your experiences will start to change for sure. Okay, you will definitely attract different experiences, and I can tell you that from my own life, okay? I live a completely different life now than I did 10 years ago, and that is because I didn't ignore my reality. I decided that everything that I was calling into my life was because of me, right? And if I didn't like something, and if something felt bad to me, that was because of me. And it wasn't about trying to focus positively. It was about healing and integrating the aspect that was wounded inside of me so that I could start to express in a new and different way, right? That's all this is. So if you haven't already, go check out my Emotional Mastery series. That is what all of this is, right? So take all of your painful experiences and everything that you feel and everything that's going on, and don't ignore it. Don't try and get rid of it by positive thinking. Go into your heart space room and get the information. Start to become neutral to your experiences and let that expand your consciousness. And then from there, like I said, your experiences will start to change, yes. But at the same time, you will start to be able to find joy in all of your circumstances. You will start to realize that life is not about procuring pleasurable experiences and avoiding negative experience. You will start to understand that there is actually no such thing as a pleasurable or a negative experience. That everything is here to teach you. Absolutely every experience in your life is a benevolent experience. Absolutely, there is nothing on this planet that has to make you upset, that has to make you hurt, that has to make you feel negative, that has to make you feel out of alignment with yourself. Every circumstance that you call into your reality is there for a reason. And when you can start to understand that and not try and avoid anything and not try and procure anything, but just be in your life, you will find that there is joy in every moment. And then you're no longer in this immature, just like the consciousness of the world, where we're all trying to run to things to make us feel better and run away from things that we think make us feel bad. And we will say, no, I am willing to be in my life. I am willing to learn from everything. I am willing to grow from everything. And I am willing to stop cutting myself off from love based on any external circumstance. Because that is what is causing me pain. It's never the thing. It's always that I believe I'm not worthy of love because of this. All right? So in the next video, I am going to talk about neutrality. And we're going to cover that a little bit more. But until then, that's this, okay? So like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that fun stuff. If you need clarity, let me know. Join Patreon, and And other than that, I will see you in the next video.